hard. They did that thing. But the kids, y'all, the kids, you got to go see them on Facebook on any premier child care website. Post Facebook page. That's Pill Hill, East Side, near the pier, or West Austin Development Center. The caption, The Temptation smoked. Oh, Beyonce killed it. Like literally. And there's so many other things that went on. This entire weekend was incredible. We got some incredible things going on today. We got great guests. That's who's our first guest?
We have Gina Lamar with the Mingling Minute coming up. But before we get to today's guest, I do want to shout out yesterday. I went to the Founders Day celebration for Apostle Richard D. Hinton. And Bishop Bush, shout out to Bishop Corey Bush. He did his thing per usual. He preached like God sent them directly from heaven.
Did you go in there looking like this?
I went
because you was cool like a fan today, honey. Well, you had your celebrity on today.
Well, listen, shout out to Target for this jacket. After I left the service yesterday, of course I had to charge my car, so I went to a new. Oh my God! I went to a new charger station next door to Target.
So wait a minute. I understand you have to pay for charges now.
Yes, not too much. But before we get there, Leanne Fain, gospel artist. Now, when I walk in the room, Tammy, you people may not believe it. I do not walk in like, I'm Action Jackson. You better know me.
If you look like that, you don't got to say a word. It says it all.
Well, I sat down. Leanne, gospel legend, Leanne Fain, beckoned for me to the front. Now, Apostle Mark Hinton only knows us from radio, so he had never seen me. So she said, do he know you here? And I said, well, he don't know how I look. We just talk on the phone and radio. And she said, no, you got to let him know. I said, Leanne, I'm okay. When she got up to do her solo, she pumped up the brunch bunch. Before she started singing, she said, before I do anything, you guys need to know who is in the building. One of the brunch bunch, Action Jackson, is here. She pumped us up, and Apostle Hinton and Bishop Bush faces lit up.
Are you serious?
And they called me after the service to thank me. They said it shows a lot about the brunch bunch because we didn't just announce it. We showed up. And so, and people start walking up to me in the middle of the service, giving me cards in my pocket.
I know you felt like you look like the celebrity you are.
Telling me I love the show. Then one guy must say this. He said, man, it's so a deacon. He said, it's so nice to finally put a face with the voice. He said, nah, I thought you were a little slimmer, but you
Oh my God. Where do you get that? I'm the one who gained 20 pounds. I bet none of y'all better not come up to me and say, yeah, Timmy, you look a little plump. I went to Jamaica and my attorney said to me, Tamara, you gained a little weight, huh? I said, this is why I can't manage you, but I can manage you, believers. And that's what we're going to do. We got famed Chicago's own comedian extraordinaire Tiera O'Leary in the building. Y'all don't go nowhere. Get way more to share right here on Inspiration 1390. Are you serious?
They said, bro, I thought you were slimmer than that.
Oh my God. I would have cried, died.
No, come on then.
We're going to do interrupt.
Slap my weave to the side.
Gina, you're nuts. Oh.
What's that? Hello. How are you? We got another seat. Hi, Tiera.
My cousin, our favorite cousin.
Long time no see.
Tamara, I got this commercial.
You got the commercial ready? Can I hear it before you play it?
My phone
Buddy Bear yearly buddy pass for as low as $17 a month for the entire year. No matter where you are, in 15 locations, you can go anywhere.
How you doing, cousin?
All right. This is Marcel.
All year long, Buddy Bear members will receive exclusive perks. Wait one second. Out the membership. Go to buddybearcarwash.com. That's Buddy Bear. Yeah, it is. Okay, I like it. Okay, turn it down.
Get your membership today.
You want me to put it in there?
I'm good. How are you? So nice to meet you.
Should I put the commercial in the show?
Yeah, definitely. This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. Going down. Join us up.
Whoa.
What's the Wi-Fi in here?
So you're gonna do
C.
Gina first.
Capital C.
You want to do like that?
Number 0.
I'm gonna let you go.
Have to wait.
You can.
No, listen. Right. She got to do drops out too.
Oh, okay, cool.
3.
Okay, so
Exclamation point.
That's too hard. All that is too hard. Fix it. billion-dollar company.
Did it work?
The Pam. Okay, you got a seat right
Oh,
there.
let's see. Yeah. Look. When we got a minute, look, I'm gonna send it to you, bro.
Actually, yeah, that would be. You know what? I'm gonna write it right here, because then I'm gonna post it so when people come, they know it. Here you go. And then everybody can have it.
We got like
And then
40
we don't
seconds.
have to bother you.
How the babies, Marcel?
They are doing pretty good.
I know.
We just got some good news about MJ.
What?
I'll share with you and Pam after. Where we going next?
Black History. Black History. You got 30 seconds.
We going to Black History?
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then it's gonna go right into after Black History is gonna play her mingling moment. Then
Okay,
she'll
perfect.
start.
Perfect. Good. You get to hear me one more.
Intro coming.
Today's Monday, all day long. You okay? You was drinking with Marcel over the weekend?
I'm sick. I can hear that. Oh. Well, on today's, before I jump into Black History, I want to talk about someone making history.
Yes.
Contrary to Tamara's belief, Action Jackson does not drink anymore. So I want you to hear that history in the making.
Everybody's so sensitive nowadays.
No, but listen, on this Black History fact, if you didn't know, in the 1960s, there was an all-black town called Africville in Nova Scotia. It was an island. It was inhabited by all African Americans. And then it was, of course, bulldozed and destroyed by the white people.
Wait, Nova Scotia's up at the top tip northern part of Canada. Right?
Yep, it was nestled in the heart of the Canadian province of Nova Scotia. It was a symbol of Black resilience, culture, and independence. Yet in the 1960s, it was torn apart by the very government that was supposed to protect its citizens. Black families were forcibly removed from their homes, their community bulldozed in the name of urban renewal, their identity erased as if it never existed. And so we just share these Black history facts because we, of course, want to unearth these hidden truths. And unfortunately, if we don't know our history, we will allow it to repeat it.
That was a good one, Marcel. Like, literally, I never knew that. And I've always lauded, every time we talk about Canada, I always talk about how they're the nicest people on earth. Maybe not at the northern part. Clearly, that was heinous.
Yep.
So did it rival, like, Black Wall Street?
No, it was its own town. They were self-sufficient. They had everything of their own, and they said they needed the land, but then, of course, it was used for a dumping ground.
Wow, they needed the land to dump things. Come on now, that's why we build in black back, one block, one success story at a time, and we've got several right here in the studio, y'all. It's going down. You already know who it is. You already know what it is. This is Inspiration 1390, the Brunch Bunch.
Can we get some back?
Monday, and it's time for your mingling moment with Gina Lamar.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's your girl, Gina Lamar, your health and relations.
You want to play a song after this? You want to play the rest of the commercial?
No, let Gina come right in.
As we close out Black History Month and bring in Women's History Month, I'd like to highlight a few Black female doctors. And I'd like to start with Dr. Cynthia Watson. Then we're going to start with Dr. Vicki Johnson, Dr. Maya Green, Dr. Danica Wilson, Dr. Ramona Perez. How about Dr. Tanya Payton Campbell, Dr. Audrey Tainsley, Dr. Heather Prendergast, Dr. Erica Taylor,
That's good
Dr.
because
Nikki Harvey,
Black doctors are
Dr.
shrinking
Nicole
in
Morion.
dramatically.
Just to name a few Black female doctors, as we go into Women's History Month and prep for Black women, I want to always make sure I highlight Black women. This week's Mingling Moment has been brought to you by Nephew's Case Management and Trading Services.
Well, it is always a pleasure to have Miss Gina Lamar in the building with us. She is, of course, the founder and CEO of Mingling Moment, and she does her Mingling Minute.
That's okay, it's Monday. Don't worry about it.
My moment.
Right here on the Brunch Bunch. Welcome back, Gina.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. And especially when I'm confused about that today is Monday, right?
Yes.
No, I'm here, so I know it's Monday. So no, I am happy to be back and always with something new to talk about.
What you got
We
for
always have stuff coming up. Well, it's not quite yet. We're about to hit Women's History Month this month. So we will be talking about our segment where we prep for Black women. But then we also have on March 10th, National Black HIV Awareness Day for women and girls. And because those numbers are starting to creep up in Black women, they've never gone down, but they've definitely started to creep up again. We have to make sure we stay on top of that.
Absolutely.
And talk about PrEP, the pre-exposure prophylaxis, the pill that can stop you from contracting HIV. So that's where we are. That's what some of the things we'll be talking about.
I want to talk about the PrEP.
Oh,
Like literally.
absolutely.
So you take this pill if you think you're going to get HIV?
Well, you take this pill to prevent you from getting HIV.
Oh.
You take this pill to prevent you from getting
You
HIV.
look like you might give me HIV. Let me take this pill.
Oh, Lord.
Well, let me tell you. No, that's called PEP. That's called, we had a great weekend. I woke up and I don't even know my last name. I don't know my partner's last name. So it was a great weekend in Vegas. So now I take PEP, the post-exposure prophylaxis, just like the Plan B pill.
I was just going to say that
Just
sounds like a Plan B.
So I take the Plan B pill so I'm not pregnant, and I take PEP afterwards so that
We
I
are
don't
a
contract
solution-based show, clearly.
We really are. Now, it doesn't stop that gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. We haven't figured that part out yet, but don't worry, I'm working on it. But no, really and truly, we do have that. You can take a pill after you've had an exposure, possibly, or when you are having unprotected sex regularly with new partners because you're free. You're sexually free.
Now, I want to just say this because you illuminated this message so very well. I want you to repeat it because people are probably listening. You know, we're a Christian-based show. The saints are probably like, what are they talking about? I'm saved. I don't need none of that.
Come on now. Everybody's walk had a process.
But Gina made a very good point about married couples and why I love the analogy you use about babysitting in the middle of the night. Can you share that?
Absolutely. So one of the things I do every year is test at Black Women's Expo, right? So you're walking by and I say, come on, let's update your status. You say, oh, honey, I'm married. I say, so was Cookie Johnson. Guess whose husband came home with HIV? Then you say, you know, hey, some things are happening. I say, put your husband on condom duty till we get these things figured out. I'm not going to ask my husband to wear a condom. I said, but you can ask me to come babysit at 3 o'clock in the morning while you look for him. And we can have a conversation about your sexual health. I said, I'm just trying to do your sexual health. I'm not in your marriage. I'm willing to watch the kids so you don't leave them alone. But what we're not going to do is let you blindly walk into something with me sitting here.
Yes. And thank God for you. That was a powerful message.
Now,
but nobody wants to hear. But
we have to keep talking about it. I tell people all the time.
It's factual.
Put me out of business by giving me something else to work on, right? But the reality is everybody wants unprotected raw sex, and so therefore I stay in business.
And I have to learn that just because I don't think a topic or I don't want to talk about something, because Saturday at our senior breakfast, they said, well, we have a palliative care doctor. And I said, I don't know if the seniors want to hear about palliative care. Definitely. To me, it sounds like, oh, I'm dying. But to them, it was the most received message of the morning. Absolutely. And the doctor walked up to me and he said, Action Jackson, you can't keep putting what you believe that other people may not like on it. But that goes to, he mentioned also, we need a sex therapist expert to come in and talk to these seniors about STDs. And I said, not Granny.
Y'all think not Granny.
Think not Granny, right? But what do we do? When you go younger, it's better, right? But it also puts you at other risks. And so everyone keeps thinking, and people are saying, the other part that I have to always dispel this myth. The HIV numbers are going up in the senior buildings. They're contracting it, you know, because they're dealing with these people. No, not at all. What happens is we've done so well in the science that people are aging with HIV. So you had it for 30 years. You started at 30, but now you're 60. You got it at 35. Now you're 65. And so now you're in a senior building.
That makes sense.
So that's where the numbers are there. It's not new infections. We're not having new infections in the senior buildings. Now, again, that chlamydia, that's on fire. If I could just get everybody to do 2 good weeks.
No pun intended.
2 good weeks. And I did, pun intended.
It's burning, y'all. It's burning.
It's burning. 2 good weeks. But yeah, so thank you for that, because we do think that not Granny And palliative care, let's be very clear. We don't know if we're gonna have these careers. We don't know if we're about to be blowing up like other people, but what we do know for sure is that we're gonna die. So let's have a plan.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? This is super important information, and these moments are like miracle moments. Literally, it can save your life, prolong it, and definitely increase the value of it. So thank you so much for that, Gina.
Absolutely.
And hopefully with this kind of critical information that we're disseminated, we shall overcome. Let's do it. Bishop Paul Morton in the building. Well, sort of. It's Inspiration 1390.
Gina, you're going to have me faint some days. I don't know where you're going to
No,
go.
Gina, that was amazing.
I forgot to even push the button.
That was incredible.
No, that was good.
You doing what's going on? Or no?
We at 12:22. What you want to do?
What's all in the raw?
We got time to do it.
Oh.
If we did both, we would still have 20 minutes.
Gina, real quick though, if anybody want to reach you,
Gina. Yeah. Gina, how do people reach you?
Oh, GinaLamar.com. GinaLamar.com.
And is there a website?
That's the website.
That's
GinaLamar.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do in the raw next.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna do it.
And if we have time, I'll do it.
I definitely want to do Wendy Williams.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Somebody. Right. Go ahead, you dump in our picture. Okay, I'm getting out of the way.
Okay, you're more than welcome to hang in the studio. You don't have to leave. Oh, okay.
Get out of the way.
So, cousin Tiera, we got one more story, then we bringing you up hot.
Not burning, but hot.
So, Gina, you said something no, and I was confused then. I thought the senior STD rates was high because they in the senior building old and they just doing a lot of stuff.
The STI rates are high.
I left my phone.
The STI rates are high, but the HIV rates.
Come over here and tell it to me. 7 City Tour.
Yes.
The gonorrhea committee is
She can talk about
the new cases.
That's high.
Yeah, those numbers.
Because they be getting
yeah, but I don't have my phone. I left it in the car. Where did it start?
So
Here?
I got a doctor I want you to meet.
Oh, okay. So it's coming out.
Because they.
Thank you. And then she can elaborate on
it. About pregnancy.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yes, I figured that.
So they like, we don't need all that.
So we don't have to do, you know what I mean? Get a little extra lube.
Social Security paper.
Nikaya.
What doctor?
He is actually a family nurse practitioner. He owns a wellness. No, Larry Wilkes. So he's opening a big facility on 87.
Tell us the news about our baby.
So Marcel talked about alcohol a little earlier in the show. And
I said, just in case you didn't hear, that I don't bother because I'm saved.
See how Kick Dogs Holler? I wasn't even going there. I was not even going to say nothing about that. I was just saying that you talked about alcohol. And I did not know until the literally epic series for Wendy Williams, Where is Wendy Williams, came on Lifetime this weekend, that there was such a thing called alcohol-induced dementia. Now, there's a technical term for it, and apparently Wendy Williams has primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, which her niece just broke down as alcohol-induced dementia. Now, I was glued to the TV this weekend. Yes, because literally Wendy is in a state, or at least is appearing in a state of dysfunction, dementia. I mean, just disorder. But if you haven't watched it, you definitely want to see it. So if it sounds familiar, it's because you might recall that this is the same diagnosis actor Bruce Willis received recently. And it sounds scary, but it's so very true. And kind of like what Gina was saying, we really need to get in front of these things so that we can hopefully they come up with a pill to prevent it, like we did with the preventing HIV pill. But But according to the Cleveland Clinic, aphasia is a neurological condition that causes the loss of language skills. It is a form of dementia that could signal Alzheimer's, Mayo Clinic says, and a form of dementia Williams had occurs when the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain atrophy. Well, if you don't know what atrophy is, you sometimes might have it in your hand or your leg, and your hands just start to at will with no prompting just start to move, and sometimes you'll have it in your leg and they do the same, but it's lending to that behavior that also speaks to maybe you should get checked out for the two conditions that I spoke about a little earlier. Well, aphasia is an early sign of frontotemporal dementia. So what makes Wendy's diagnosis slide from scary to outright terrifying is her age. How in the George Clooney at 59 could she have dementia? We learned this week that she stopped her production of her show 2 years ago before she started experiencing and exhibiting signs of this disease. Well, her diagnosis is traumatic for those of us trying to tell ourselves we're safe from dementia because we're much too young for it. Well, as different things start to happen, they start to screen for colon cancer earlier. They start to screen for pancreatic cancer earlier. So it would make sense that you would screen for dementia earlier. So we've been misled, actually. So we've talked about when the screening should take place, and literally take place much earlier than 65, as aforementioned. So Terry Simpson, MD, explains in a TikTok that the reasons some develop dementia are complex. It could be caused by addictions, drug use, or alcoholism, increased the risk of dementia. Well, 5 years ago, E.T. reported on Williams' admission to her audience that she had entered a sober living facility to deal with prescription drugs and alcohol issues. I didn't know there were sober living facilities either. Well, Dr. Simpson also listed depression as a possible cause. Well, we all know that she went through a series of depressions when her husband of up-teen decades had an affair and a subsequent baby with a younger woman, and that sent William spiraling. It was so hard seeing someone with a brilliant brain and a level of intelligence, as does Wendy have, suffering in the way that he says estimated that she has 12 to 13 year survival rate. For those of us feeling panicked because we found ourselves searching for the right word lately, there is evidence that lifestyle changes can help us maintain brain health and reduce the risk of developing dementia. So we definitely want to encourage you to look those up on our Facebook page, which we will be posting today or later on tomorrow, so that you can start doing these exercises for prevention. The Alzheimer's Association suggests staying active. Sedentary lifestyles really do contribute to the demise of your health, mental and physical health. Yep. Eating a healthy diet, exercising our mind, even like I play these little games on and I noticed that some of the seniors were playing these games, word games, puzzles. Do those things online if you have time at your desk. Exercise your mind and keep your brain ticking so that it does not go into an atrophy state. So don't be surprised if you see us this week eating apples and jogging while we're learning Korean, because we definitely want to keep it coming.
Well, you know what? You have to exercise everything: your physical body, your spiritual, and of course your mind, right?
Yes.
I knew that excessive drinking could cause dementia.
You did?
Yeah, because if you and in the words of, I love hanging with my older people, in the words of Ralph Murphy, don't put your brain to sleep. He used to always say that when I was young and would be hanging with these guys. He said, you're going to have a drink, don't put your brain to sleep. And it wasn't until the first time I put my brain to sleep, I knew what he meant. Because if you drink too much, then you don't remember what happened the night before.
Who's right there next to you the same next day?
And that's why you got to get the pep.
That's why you got to get that pep.
Because you didn't have the prep. But, those are things that when you're drinking, I didn't see the documentary, but I saw one clip where the guy asked her, like, you drink this whole bottle today? And she was like, yes. And you know what? People have those issues, but that's the effects it takes on your brain.
Some of the things Wendy was saying were really funny, but they were funny and sad at the same time, because she was being Wendy, the Wendy that she currently is. And it was comical. But when you think about the Wendy that she currently is, it put people into a state of teary eyes, because Wendy was bigger than life personality, and now you look at her, she's so skinny, and she's wearing things that she would never wear, and literally saying things that she would never say. And it was no limits for Wendy. She had no filter, so it was nothing that she wouldn't say. She told the reporter asked her, "When did you meet your publicist?" She said, "Weeks ago." Well, maybe hours ago. I don't know. What's her name? And then she went back into her name. So she's going in and out of remembering, but more non-remembering. So this is a wake-up call for everyone. So I encourage you, if you haven't actually watched the series, I think it's a 4-part series, but each part gets more interesting than the next. But the good news is that they're reporting that she is showing some signs of recovery. So we are all praying for her. And on her journey, she went to her star in the show and literally started telling people who she was as if they didn't know.
Well, what I want people to take from this is to, one, pray for Wendy and her family, because this is a serious situation. 2, take heed, right? Be very careful, because a lot of us get into a slump. And Bishop Bush said yesterday in the pulpit that he has suffered from depression. And he said, and I know some of y'all out there saying, "No, preacher, you can't say that." And he said, "Well, y'all can act like you've never been depressed, but I've been depressed." And he said it took Apostle Mark to talk him out of the depression and remind him of the goodness of God. And so when we start sinking into that type of depression where we're using alcohol, that's when it becomes this major issue where you may now have dementia. Now, sober living facilities, of course, I know about that too, Tammy. I'm like, where Tammy been living? But
I haven't been living in the drunk world, obviously.
But not even the drunk world. But if you know, because here's the deal: if you're an alcoholic and you try to withdraw from drinking, you can develop what's called the DTs.
No, I do know about that.
So if you got the delirium tremor, you may need some help. A lot of us couldn't afford to go to a sober living facility.
But you know what? I have so many alcoholics in my family, but those resources we never knew about, so they weren't available.
Yeah, and so they
that's
had
why,
to get through it themselves.
Right. They had to go through it cold turkey, and some of them didn't go through it cold turkey. Some of them died from it. Literally.
So believers, if you have a family member struggling with alcoholism or depression, please help them to get help. Now, when they stop drinking and they start telling you they saw a pink elephant walking down the street, just know it's the DTs. They need a little extra help from you. And pray.
Well, Wendy's situation is a little bit deeper too, because she's a celebrity. She's garnered a fortune, and literally she has been blocked from her money. So a stranger is overseeing her finances, and that is adding to her depression, where her family, when she's with her family, according to the documentary, she's thriving. She gained a couple 20 pounds or so, which she desperately needed, and then she went back to the same situation. So go ahead, watch the documentary. The takeaway from what she is exhibiting and what she is literally shining a light on is incredible. But speaking of incredible, we got some incredible more guests right here on Inspiration 1390. Y'all, do whatever you got to do, but you definitely don't want to miss this next segment. You deserve to be here. Yes, let's do it. It's Inspiration 1390. No, literally, to talk. I don't understand. If you see this,
Tammy, you from Maine. You ain't had nobody go to a sober living facility.
Nobody's ever been in treatment. No, nobody's ever tried to get off. Right. No, they went to treatment. That's sober living. But no, they didn't call it sober living.
They called it rehab.
They called it
treatment or rehab.
No, I'm telling you that my uncle, he died from alcoholism. He went into, never called it a sober living. Maybe it was called rehab, but I don't think it was. He actually got on the L because he was drunk. He didn't get on the L. He got on, getting ready to go to it, and fell back onto the Dan Ryan, and that's how he died.
Yeah, but so we
because you got liver failure, you got cirrhosis of the liver,
all the different things that
My sister died from cirrhosis of the liver, but she died from NASH, non-alcoholic. She had not been, meaning she just had a bad liver, so she died from an alcoholic death, but she had the non-alcoholic symptoms.
You're right. There was a different name though. Because see, it sounds like sober living is like an all-encompassing ecosystem that really helps
better
you.
Than, sound better than rehab.
Right. Because what my uncle did when he was in rehab, all he did was go through DTs. They gave him morphine while he was going through the DTs, and it wasn't that whole like collaborative
Yeah, I know what you're
healing
saying.
effort.
Guys, it's Tamara Fair
And Action Jackson.
from the
trying to
Brunch
help you. So
Bunch. Now,
no
your
matter what you
home is
call
not
it,
just a
you
place.
kind of know what it
It's a
is now.
lifetime
Yeah.
of memories,
Like, for you to
hard
say you
earned
didn't know, I
and
was like,
cherished.
I did.
At Secure
but
Home
no,
and
I think
Automation,
you
they
just call it
understand
something
what it
Yeah.
means to protect
that's
these
what
memories.
But it
As
was
a
but it
Brinks
had different
authorized
services
dealer,
is what I'm
Yeah.
they
saying. They
stand
had
guard over a
lots
We
million
got a
homes and
corporate
businesses,
commercial
ensuring
where it's
safety
just me talking
24/7,
up.
365
where you
days
go to
a year.
Detox.
You know
That's what it was
The
called.
Response Center
To the
is
detox.
Detox, where you go to
providing
detox,
top-notch
where
monitoring
you go to
for
Haymarket
burglary,
right away,
fire,
get it
carbon
out your system,
monoxide,
then
and
you
medical
start
emergencies.
short-term
They
treatment,
will
and then it
fulfill
progresses
and
to
even
long-term
exceed
treatment.
No,
all
not
Now
for
industry
mom, but he
they
standards.
came
have
home
With
after
Secure Home and
detox,
Automation,
Yeah.
which
they
meant
have the
that
power
he
to
didn't really
customize
get
your
that.
security
She works
He
for
didn't,
me.
Round-the-clock peace of mind
I know
sounds
he
good
didn't
to
Wait,
you.
her
get
family
because he could
called
come
me
back
to
and
get to
start
her
doing
husband.
similar.
My family called her to get to
Be a
me.
part of your story, a
beautiful
part
place
of your
to get up
legacy.
like
They're safeguarding your home
Yeah,
Well,
with
it was
that's
security
terrible.
and peace.
So go ahead and call
how long we got?
866-447-3344.
How many? 10
That's
minutes. Oh.
866-447-3344. Call today and make a wise choice to secure your tomorrow. Secure Home and Automation. You've heard the name. Now experience the promise of ultimate safety that they bring to your home. Call Stacy Chauncey at 866-447-3344. Stacy Chauncey, 866-447-3344.
Dreaming of a new home or selling at a great price? LMS Development is your go-to. Expertise in real estate
I
and
know,
mortgage
right?
loans, we make the process seamless and rewarding. No more hurdles in your property journey. Buying, selling, or refinancing, we've got your back. Dial area code 773-616-0906 and step into your property dreams with LMS Development. Area code 773-616-0906.
Did you go to save your day?
LMS Development, making property dreams a reality.
Attention motorists, get your new Buddy Bear yearly Buddy Pass for as low as $17 a month for the entire year. No matter where you are, through the 15 locations, you can go anytime and get your car washed every day if you want.
Zoe said, where
All
y'all
year
going
long,
after
Buddy
that?
Bear
Y'all
members will
outfits
receive
is
exclusive
bomb.
perks and offers
I'm going
throughout the membership. Go to BuddyBearCarWash.com. That's BuddyBearCarWash.com and get your membership today. You can ride out with a clean ride tomorrow. That's Buddy Bear Car Wash.
Nikayo was on here taking up and advocating for you today. He said, why is Tamara not on the screen? So then I said, oh, I do have another phone, so I put you on the screen. Then he said, we need to fix Tamara's name on the screen.
What
Because
it say?
this still say
Action
Action
Jackson.
And transform your life.
You got
Corby
the bio
Bush
and
Ministries is dedicated
You want to
to
answer the first
spreading
question?
the teachings of love, faith, and empowerment. Give them a call, 214-371-8768 to connect directly with their ministry. And don't forget to follow Bishop on Facebook at Corby Bush Ministries for daily inspiration and updates. Don't forget, tune in this Saturday at 6 p.m. to the Word Network for a life-changing word.
Where's the action, Jackson?
I'll tell you what's going on.
Well, I'm not Action Jackson, but I can tell you what's going on. And it is starting right now. We've got Chicago's own Tiera O'Leary. Cousin Tiera is Chicago's own stand-up comedian known for her raw and relatable comedy. She gained fame with a viral Black Moms video and is hailed as one of the best comedic storytellers in 2023. Well, that also is extending to 2024 and beyond. But in 2023, Tiera blazed the National Comedy Club scene with her Kicking It With My Cousins tour, packing crowds on a 54-city tour. Now she's back with her family reunion tour, sharing stages with comedic talents like T. Ray Sanders and Gina G. Tiera. Is pursuing acting in Second City, Chicago, and will be featured at the upcoming film Comedy Lights the Dark. She is kicking off a 7-city tour March the 1st, starting in Boston, and we are so excited to have her right here on the Brunch Bunch. Welcome!
Hey, well, let me correct that. It's a 57 city tour.
I thought you said 7.
But you know what, Cousin Tiera?
Thank you.
I know that you got a notification earlier this morning that you got a new follower, because that was me.
Okay.
I was doing my research, and I'm like, you know what? I can't believe I missed you on social media. Plus, I only follow like pastors and Jesus because of
Don't
Saturday.
believe it.
Share one of my supervisor videos. I did a spades video. Y'all know how to play spades?
Yes.
I pretend I
I
do.
saw you don't.
I don't. So yeah.
But
I shared that several times throughout the family.
I went through your videos and I could not stop laughing. I was almost late today catching up on video. But I love your Black moms. And so your raw and relatable comedy has resonated with audience across the nation. Can you tell us about your journey into stand-up comedy and how you developed your unique comedic style?
Well, I've always been the goofy one of my parents' 6 children. Being a middle child, you fighting for attention. So I was able to get it with my personality just being naturally funny. I come from a family of funny people, not professionally, but we all are pretty funny. I started doing stand-up comedy almost 8 years ago, and I started doing it on a dare. My cousin begged me to go up at open mic at Bartenders with super promoter Donsky. He had been inviting me out for months. Like, come through, you should really do it, just based off my Facebook posts and statuses that I would make. And he would be like, Tiera, you are such an amazing storyteller. You should do stand-up comedy. You fun, you funny. And I'm like, boy, I sing. I'm not doing no comedy. But I went and saw what they was doing. And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. My cousin was like, I dare you do it. Don't dare me. And so when I got ready to go, like, yeah, it's too late.
I know.
It's like, no, you got to come back next week. So I told him that I would come back next week. And before I knew it, he had made a flyer. I'm like, what is it? What am I doing on a flyer? Made a flyer. It was packed out. And I went up there and they let me do like 47 minutes. My first
time. Your first time.
Wait, you had that much material on a dare?
Well, I was just telling my business.
Oh.
And probably somebody else's business too, right?
Telling our business.
Well, that led to I'm so glad you corrected me, 57 city tour.
57 cities. Last year was 54 cities. And
you like the Beyonce of comedy.
Well, possibly. But no, I didn't think last year. Well, I knew that my fan base was big online. And I'd like to let all of my cousins online know that I'm completely different in person doing stand-up than I am my personality online. My Black mom videos stem from actually my Black dad. My mom was nowhere near as strict as my dad was. So Black mom videos that y'all see, most of them are Black dad videos, but I just deliver it as a Black mom.
That's interesting.
I know, right?
That was smart too, because most moms can relate to
what my dad was.
Because they wouldn't have been able to connect that. My daddy just quiet and stared you mean when you come out. That was it.
My dad ran
so this Kicking It with My Cousins tour's huge success in 2023, packing the crowds in 54 cities. What was the highlight of the tour for you, and how did it begin to shape your now burgeoning career?
Overall, it was just the experience. I come from a very musical family, and we all in some sort did some kind of professional music, but I've never experienced like the whole touring and just the rush of getting up and traveling, flight from one city and state to a whole other city and state, from one part of the map all the way to the other part of the map. I was able to experience just some amazing things during that tour, meeting people, networking. It all was amazing to me. I loved it.
What's the best part of the tour? And then conversely, what's the part that you would change about a tour? Not this tour, just any tour.
The best part of the tour is, I think, just seeing that crowd that comes out for me. I've always been that comedian, whether it's 4 or 4,000 people, I give 1,000,000% on stage. So just seeing those 4 or 40 or 400 people waiting for me, man, it's mad shifting. I'll be like, y'all here for me? It's always a shock. Like, I've never gotten to a comedy club or a event space or wherever I'm performing, and it's not been high energy people actually they're excited to see me. So that's the best part. What I would change about it is the amount of sleep I get. I think I should sleep more, but my brain is working all the time. I be so excited, so I don't sleep often.
Nice.
Nah, that is nice. Now, Tiera, let's backtrack a little bit. Cousin Tiera, prior to you being dared to go on stage and become this Beyonce of comedy, what were you doing?
I was a CNA.
Wow.
I was almost a nurse.
That was pre-nurse.
You already
Right.
know.
You know, people love to say, oh, I'm a nurse. I work in the nursing field. Well, I was a CNA, so I was almost a nurse. And I did that for 11 years, working at nursing homes all over the state.
Wow.
Just summer everywhere. And before that, I just was unemployed.
Okay.
Well, God was preparing you for your journey, because now you are definitely everything but unemployed.
I am.
Now, you said you have a singing background. Were you singing to the patients, and do you sing in your comedy show?
No, I wasn't singing to the patients. A long time ago, I thought I wanted to pursue singing full time and perform. I always knew that I would be some sort of performer. What I never expected it to be comedy. But like I said, I come from a very musical background. I sang in church. I had several lead songs. I was in a musical group called Honey Brown. It was myself and two other young ladies. I tried to do the solo career thing where it was my music soul child era, where I wouldn't shave under my arms, and I thought
Lord.
I wanted to dread my hair. Yeah, lock my hair.
You were real woke.
Yeah, I was real woke. Real woke. Incense and all of that.
Neo soul.
Neo soul. But singing just didn't work out. Well, once I saw that I could make people laugh in large crowds or small crowds, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I love it so much. I was always fascinated with comedy. I just never knew that it was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And what makes a great comedian is the storyteller. But I just want to touch a little bit on your history too. You said church and solo, so that intrigued me. What church did you grow up at?
I grew up at New Galilee Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of the late Reverend Dr. Charlie Murray. We are currently under the leadership of Reverend Danny Ross.
West Side.
West Side.
You better believe it. And now there's a follow-up question before Oprah jump back in. What's your favorite church solo?
My favorite church solo was Silver and Gold.
I was going to say, if you want to hit a little bit of it on 1390, I may be able to revive that music career.
She said it so sweet. But you know what? When you have a talent and you are a good steward of that talent, because God has given it to you, He gives you more talents. And so you are passionate about acting as well. Yes. And we're excited to hear about your upcoming film, Comedy Lights the Dark. Yes. Can you give us some insights into the role in the film that you play and the film that is coming up? And when can we see it?
So I didn't even know that I was going to be in a film.
You didn't know nothing. You just showed up.
See, that's how the good Lord works.
And you just followed.
Invited to audition for what I thought was a comedy show. I'm like, when do they do auditions for a comedy show? I got there, and it was this panel of people who looked very important. And one of those people were the creator, director, and writer of Comedy Lights the Dark, Dorian Maricus. And I ended up, he gave me a piece of paper and was like, memorize that, and then come back in. And I memorized it, and I went in and I delivered a lot of what was on the paper. I had to improvise because I couldn't remember. And
he did give you a short window.
He gave me a short window, and then they just was laughing. Everything was so funny. I guess I don't know if it was my energy or if I did that good of a job, but everything was so funny. And then within a couple hours, I got the call back like, "Hey, we want you in the movie," and I freaked out.
Wow.
And got on set, and I was like, I don't have to kiss or nothing, do I?
So welcome to Hollywood.
Right. Take it off.
Comedy Lights the Dark. A lot of people, I look at it as like a spoof movie. It's basically paying homage to great comedians before us: Red Fox, Robin Williams, of course Richard Pryor, just all of the greats, the comedic greats, and it's a bunch of spoof parodies in one, merged to make a absolutely hilarious movie. It comes out fall of next year, and I will be promoting it a lot. So if y'all follow me, y'all can get ready to get tired of seeing Comedy Lights the Dark.
Well, you have to come back, and we have to have an exclusive and all of that, so that we can get our listeners ready to come see you.
I would love to.
Now, Cousin Tiera, with your background in stand-up comedy, CNA, singing in the church, but your upcoming ventures in acting, how do you balance these different creative pursuits, and do you find that they complement each other in a way?
I do think they complement each other because comedy goes into acting as well as acting goes into comedy. I'm acting every day online. A lot of people see my Black Mom videos, and because I created these characters, Diamond, Destiny, and Dominique, which are my daughters, online, I don't really have daughters. So the people like, we're Diamond, Destiny, and Dominique, and I'm like, I don't have a Diamond.
I don't know where
they looking for
they're
these.
all,
They look for these kids that's in your mind.
Kids and they aren't really there, but they all make my skits even funnier. So I'm acting in my skits. As she stated, Tamara stated, I am a student at Second City right now in the acting and improv classes because I'm looking to branch out into television and commercial and anything where everybody could get to know their favorite cousin.
Well, you got a great manager, I'm sure, representative in the room that's going to help make it happen. But I wanted to touch on what you just said. You made up these kids in your mind. Now, I'm a new fan. So when I went on there, I just assumed you were a mother.
I am. Well, I do have one daughter.
Okay, you got one daughter.
Hey, Rocky.
Shout out to Rocky. Okay, what does Rocky think about you and what you're doing?
Well, at first, she found everything comical. It was funny, but she's 17 now, senior in high school. So she like, are you recording? Once I start recording, like I have to warn her now. I have to tap on her door like, hey, I'm getting ready to make a video. She be like, okay. But sometimes I incorporate her in those skits. I don't ask her. I just do it. It's whatever comes to mind because I don't write my skits out often. So if I have a good idea for one, I might knock and be like, hey, I need you to say this, say that, or make a sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she goes with the flow. She doesn't complain about it, but I can tell she don't really care for it.
Wow. So it's all going down. It's kicking off in Boston. It's starting March the 1st.
Yes.
And people can get tickets where and what's the next city after March 1st? Because now, me personally, when I miss one of my faves, I'll go to the next city.
Okay. So the tour, Family Reunion, I called it Family Reunion because kicking it with my cousins was me introducing myself to everybody as their favorite cousin. Now the Family Reunion is because I called it Family Reunion because I'm going to a lot of cities that I went to last year on the tour. I'm going back. And this time the shows are on weekends instead of weekdays.
Oh, good.
So I expect to see even more people. And it kicks off March 1st in Boston, Massachusetts. I could never say Massachusetts.
That's good. You did good.
Right. It kicks off in Boston March 1st. And then March 9th, I'm back in Illinois in Waukegan. And then it's you can look on my Instagram. Follow my Instagram if you aren't following my Instagram at my cousin Tiera. On Instagram or my Facebook page, My Cousin Tiera there as well. TikTok, which is blowing up for me, My Cousin Tiera on there as well. And you can click the link tree for links. I have a link tree link in my Instagram bio. Just click that and it shows every city that I'm going to.
This is amazing. Now, when are you going to be in Chicago?
I'll be in Chicago April 5th and 6th at the Comedy Bar.
Now
then I'll be back here. I'm going to do the Memorial Day weekend at Riddle's Comedy Club.
Damn it.
That's May 24th. Yeah, May 24th.
Say, make sure you're showing love to your hometown. Now, when you can't say Maz, just say Maz. You know, you don't got to say the whole
Boston
word.
Maz.
Boston Maz. You know,
Maz.
we'll get it. What can audiences expect from this family reunion tour? What type of story? Can you share a little insight into what we're going to hear on stage?
Well, again, I'm a completely different comedian. Stand up and social media, but kicking it with my cousins tour was just the tip of the iceberg. Family reunion tour, I also am bringing some of my comedic cousins, Gina G, Jay Anderson, Derek Hurley, Sean Morgan, who is a comedic great from Chicago. We all have very relatable comedy, so it's almost everything that you go through on the daily. We tend to crack jokes about it. We try not to be offensive, but if you're offended, you probably should stay your butt at home.
Hello.
Now, I got a really important question to ask you when we come back. And if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to, but a lot of people want to know about it. Y'all, when we come back, we getting ready. You said 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, that question is, you asking us about getting slapped on stage, that's going to be longer than a minute.
No, it's not.
I'm ready to hit this.
It's just, I know. Comedians been getting slapped on stage. In fact, you could ask.
I don't know about it. You tell me.
You don't know about comedians?
I didn't know she got slapped.
She didn't.
Oh, I thought.
No.
That's why I'm like, it's gonna take longer than.
Right.
Oh, okay. Look, I thought you was about to share yours.
Never got slapped on stage, but comedians are getting slapped.
But look, I have to tell you real quick. My sister, who loves her series, went to see her in Columbus. My sister's 70th centenary. It's not going to be the same. She was like, what was that? I said, she's a comedian.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a different story.
So who got slapped? Chris Rock.
Somebody attacked
Dave
me.
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Yep. You're rocking with the bunch right here on Inspiration 1390, and I definitely want to ask you, cousin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seem like comedians have been it's becoming a dangerous profession.
It is.
People getting slapped on stage like Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle from Chicago. Let's just say, hypothetically, somebody come up and slap you on stage. What's your knee-jerk
It's
reaction?
1390.
Is there a disclaimer? Be clear. Don't be that foolish, baby. Be clear. I'm from Chicago. Please don't think it's sweet. If somebody ran up on stage on me, I can't even tell you how I will react now because it will have to be spur of the moment. But I know me. I come from a very hands-on family.
I love the way you
love that. Hands-on.
For the child, so I learned how to throw them early from blocking my mama. But yeah, me personally, I think that everybody is so easily offended nowadays that we forget that what comedy is. Comedy is art, and comedy is just like music. I think we need to laugh every day. If you don't laugh, you tend to have a bad day, right?
Yeah,
social media has weakened the folks, but long story short, believers, if you think you running on stage, she gonna throw them hands.
And she gonna give it to you real family style, like a cousin would.
Yeah.
You listen, Tiera, it has been a pleasure. We are so excited about your journey. We can't wait to have you back. Nothing but great things are coming to you, and we are so happy that you shared this moment with us. Y'all, get those tickets. They will sell out. Chicago, she is coming April the 5th and the 6th. So if you do not have an opportunity to see her on one of her other 56 tour dates, definitely mark your calendars for April 5th and 6th. Well, it's time for us to get out of here, y'all. Let AC slide right on in. But we always want to encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know, a perfect stranger, that you love them. Show someone that you do know how much you love them. Lead with love. Land on love. I love you, Action Jackson.
I love you, Tamara Fair. We love you, believers. Baby Eminem, we love y'all.
Up next is AC Green, and right after that is Pastor Patterson on the drive home. We do it all night long right here on Inspiration 1390. Y'all have a magical Monday, and always stay optimistic.
And we out. Make sure you follow Cousin Tiera on social media.
Y'all, but do not dare go up to a Chicago comedian on stage. Don't throw nothing. Don't throw them hands. Sit in your seat. You don't like what you hear? Go on out the stadium, okay? Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Community Chatter Tuesday tomorrow. Winona Redmond, thank you. Peace.